If you feel like every time you pick up your guitar, you're playing the same licks in the same positions, it doesn't matter if you learned a new song and you figured out which pentatonic scale to use, you always gravitate back to your same old habits. In this lesson, you're gonna learn a really important exercise that will break open the entirety of the fretboard for you. So wasting no time, let's jump right in. So let's start by taking a lick that you play all the time, okay? For me, that might be something, let's say I'm in the key of G, I would always go, okay? Right, that lick, I play it all the time, too much. And the nice thing about it is it's great, because I go, great, I'm in the key of G, here's my G chord, here's my G major pentatonic, everyone's happy, it sounds good, easy to find. Now what happens when I'm soloing and I start there, right, and then I'm happy here, but then I go, well, okay, this is dead no man's land right here, all these frets, but I know it up here, so I can just jump the octave and skip the whole fretboard, right? Well, that's not very fun. I want to be able to utilize every single part of the neck, right? When you watch your favorite guitar players, they kind of just seem to navigate the whole neck without really even thinking about it. And it's like, what do they have knowledge-wise that I don't? Why are they getting this, but I can't get it? Here's how you do it, literally. This is step one, okay? We're gonna take our lick, and I want you to copy paste it all over the fretboard. That's step one. So play it on every part of the fretboard that you can. So. Not that I would ever play it up here, but it's good to know it, right? So that's step one. Take your lick and play it all over the neck. Now the second step here is the most important step, okay? We're gonna take all these different positions of playing the licks and anchor them to a different pentatonic or major scale shape or position. This will unlock the rest of the fretboard for us. Because A, we have something already familiar in our ears, and it will help us break out into these different positions. And again, the nice thing about going all over the fretboard is we get less stuck in that box, okay? Everyone is always stuck in the pentatonic box, so this is gonna be the first day that we're starting to fan away from that a little bit. So let's start by looking at that first original lick, right? Even though we kind of already went over it, we have our G chord, and it connects really nice to our G major pentatonic. It's right there, right? So that's very visually easy. Now, what about this one? Right? It might not be as obvious. So I'm gonna show you 3 different ways to anchor these licks in every different position, okay? The first is going to be by finding the closest pentatonic position. This is gonna be the most familiar to our fingers and our ears and give us just another little kind of mini box to work in as we work our way up the neck. So looking at the lick in the next position up, on the G and B strings here, this will actually connect me to my G major pentatonic 3rd position. Or if it helps you to visualize E minor pentatonic instead, you could also think of it as starting on the A string, 7th fret here, and think more of an E minor pentatonic sound, right? Because G major and E minor pentatonics, same exact scale. We're just starting on G for G major, or we're starting on E for E minor pentatonic. So that's the first thing, right? We're gonna find our pentatonic scale that is closest to it. So we have our beautiful G major or E minor pentatonic scale there. Now, the second anchor is going to be with using our triads, okay? So when I think of a G major, right, the nice thing about this lick is it fell right under my G major triad, right? So check this out. I'm gonna put down the lick here, and here's my C shape G triad. So I have G, 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 and this would be root position, first inversion, second inversion. If you're having any trouble on triads or any of this kind of inversion stuff, check out my masterclass, Back to Basics. It's available on my website, thedonutdoctor.com. Back to Basics will go over all of this stuff in great detail, and you'll have a full understanding of it by the end of the masterclass. So I go, great, okay, now I have all of my G major triads under there. So beautiful. One more way to look at it, right? And the last way of looking at this lick would be through the G major scale, right? So here I have G, and here I have my G major scale, right? You could also think E minor scale for our relative minor key, right? And it's still right there. So now we've covered all of our bases. We've played the lick in a different spot. We found our pentatonic scales that go with it. We found our triads underneath it. And we also found our major or minor scale. So really this covers the entirety of this little area of the neck, gives us so many different options to work with and ways to identify where and how to play around this lick idea, right? So let's move it up one more time. Here I'm at the 12th fret now. Right, well this one is really nice because it's right in our trusty old E minor pentatonic box that we're all stuck in, and it is jail, but we're so happy to be here. So let's look at some other ways here, right? We have, obviously, E minor pentatonic. We could also think G major pentatonic, even though it's the same exact thing as E minor pentatonic, right? And we said before we identified a triad, right? So check this out. If I envision my cowboy G shape up here, right? Right under the lick, here I have a G second inversion triad. And then I can go, right? Root position, first inversion, second inversion, root position again. So there's our triads underneath it. We also have our G major scale or our E minor scale under it. So for G major, right, or E minor. All of these three different ways, pentatonics, triads, major or minor scales. These three give us the keys to the fretboard, okay? And the reason I'm giving you all three of them is ideally you are able to visualize all three of these on top of each other. That's how you get the most out of the fretboard. But really, if you just see one of these things, the whole idea here is to be able to visualize the fretboard, right? So when I see this, I have a way of working it out across the fretboard. Maybe you really prefer triads, and I go, okay, here's my first inversion triad, and it's starting on the 5th of the chord. So anywhere I have, you know, my G major triads, I go, okay, well, here's a second inversion triad, and here's the 5th of the chord. Same thing. Here's the 5th of the chord, right? Or maybe I prefer scales. I go, okay, well, here's my major scale, right? And it connects to the root at the top. So anywhere I have, I know this is the root, and I can play down the scale, right? And same thing with our pentatonics, right? Now let's move up one more time here. This is getting a little trivial because I'm not necessarily gonna actually play it up here, but it's good to know. So up here, first thing I'll see is my pentatonic position. Excuse me. Right, this is going to be our second position of G major pentatonic or our third position of E minor pentatonic. Now for triads, right, I have my first inversion G triad right here or second inversion. Okay, so there's that. I also could have my major scale, or if I wanted to think in E minor, we also have our E right here. Now you might notice that I played the same lick in the same register or the same octave, right? You could go ahead and play it in a higher or a lower octave, which will give you even more possibilities. Keep working on this. Try it with as many different licks as possible, okay? Try it in a major key, try it in a minor key. You're always gonna have the same approach of finding your pentatonics, finding your triads, finding your major and minor scales underneath all of these new positions. Some will be a little bit more unconventional than the others, right? Like this one, for example, probably not gonna choose to play that there, but it's also good to know. That's the thing, like knowing this part of the neck, you know, if I was gonna play it down the octave down here, which is much more likely, now I already have the lay of the land, right? Your homework for tonight is to go through 3 different licks or riffs that you play all the time and move them into at least 2 different areas of the neck, finding at least one of the 3 options, pentatonics, triads, or major or minor scales underneath wherever you decide to play it. If you found this lesson useful, please, please, please hit that subscribe button. It's a really great free way to support the channel. Keep more videos like this coming to you and other guitar nerds on YouTube here. If you're interested in learning more guitar from me, check out my website. The link is right here. It's thedonutdoctor.com. This gives you access to over 500 guitar lessons, all of my masterclasses, learning pathways, everything I've ever created. And it's really nice because it goes way deeper than we did here, and it goes into every nook and cranny. There's tests, there's sexy PDF handouts, there's homework assignments. It's very guided and structured, which is the only thing that YouTube kind of lacks, is guidance and structure. So if you're looking to step up your guitar playing, check out thedonutdoctor.com. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.